Hello, sir. Let's see where everybody else is.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Just realized that I keep using my wrong mic. Let's try to use my headset mic. I'm like, oh, yeah, whoops.
I was gonna say you sound different.
Well, I mean, I should sound the same as I did.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Cool. I will message the rest of the folks to see where they are at.
Hello.
Hello!
Oh man, Pete, I have some awkward news to give you.
Remember that I'm on stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would it really matter? No, it's just with the vampire game. We have to wait and see if the wards that we put up were in effect or not because of a DTA question. So I don't know if you remember, but when I asked everybody for a point of blood to to
Mm-hmm.
set wards up in the basement.
Yes, I do
No.
remember that. I think one
Yeah.
of the other Tremere was setting that up, though, and I refused to give any of my blood.
Yeah, it was the Serpentis guy.
Never trust the Tremere.
Well, he's a good guy. He's my local drug dealer. He gets me the really good fruit, and I have been leveraging that to get this one character pulled into my circle of influence, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So I will have to let you know what happens and regale you of it offline. In the off chance that somebody from the vampire game might actually.
Oh, I doubt that any of them even are aware of this, but yes.
So it's gonna be pretty powerful stuff, Clint.
That sounds awesome. I love seeing like the costume pictures from the game.
Oh, yeah, dude, Clint, the level of costuming that the folks with this group, the Philly Spot group, go to, it's just always fun to see what folks come in.
Yeah, it looks fabulous.
I mean, and there's actually some costumes that I saw. Like this one person, her name is Kirsten. She's come to a couple sessions and played. And I just saw a cosplay that she did of a Nosferatu character, and dude, her makeup was pristine. She did a full-on bald cap, and it with the big ears and everything. It looked fantastic.
That's awesome.
I mean, like theatrical quality costuming. I was like, I love it. I had fun when I did the bald cap. That was, I'm not going to lie, I really enjoy having people put makeup on me. It's a great feeling. Because my skills aren't quite there to be able to pull the same thing off myself yet.
Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching a lot of videos on applying makeup and different techniques and stuff. So, I mean, I'm starting to build my repertoire of techniques, but, all in good time. Oh, man. Looking forward to this because I have been feeling crappy today. So I am glad that we're able to get together tonight.
Once we have a third, I will begin to do the recap and all of the other sort of stuff. But
yeah.
Oh.
Let's see, what are we playing here? Let's see. This is the dark side of the D20. Oh yeah, my character in Matt Rowane's game got turned into a friggin' wereboar.
That's funny.
Gabby.
Yeah, hey Bill.
oh hey,
And he clarified that I got the genitalia of a boar and not a person.
oh that's nice to know. That's
Yeah.
not something that all of the rest of us needed to know.
Well, hey, I cleaned it up for the
I'm
the
really
public.
happy that I came in very late to that conversation.
Yeah, that is perfect timing, Jim.
Nothing like the genitalia of a boar to put you in the right frame of mind for D&D or
Well,
Pathfinder.
I mean, on the upside,
No, there is no upside to genitalia.
depending on the species of boar, they can have an orgasm duration of anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes in length. So,
Well, I was born in the year of the boar, according to the Chinese calendar. So
I don't need
Wow.
to hear any of this.
Well, I have often said you are a bore, Jim.
yes, I know. We were just discussing that tonight. What years we were born in?
Did you guys touch on the corkscrew nature of a boar's penis?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that came into play.
That's actually a duck, isn't it? Ducks have the corkscrew penis.
That
No,
boars,
pigs.
pigs do.
So do ducks.
I like to think that I know that you guys are probably a fan of the penis of your own right, but I like to think that I'm a bigger fan of the penis than the rest of you, and these are facts that I didn't know. So
Well, not only is a duck corkscrewed penis, but the vagina of a female duck is corkscrewed the opposite direction, which means it's very hard for them to mate.
Mm.
Just thought I thought I would toss that in.
I mean, to be fair, Pete, how many farms have you worked on?
Yeah.
0.
Well, there you go.
Barry worked on a horse farm at one point.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think horses are have the same affliction as boars.
No.
But the phrase "whoa" it was appropriate.
Absolutely.
Totally intended.
All right, well,
Oh man.
we've got enough of a quorum here. Mr. Kane will not be joining us this evening, so. But that said, we can begin our recap and then get back down to business here. So, yes, we can. This takes us off the subject of boar penis, and I think that this is a rather fine thing to do. So, when we last left off, and I'll sort of walk us through the session up to where Clinton had left off. You guys had gone to the brothel that was run by Raul Rodrigo, over on the side of town farthest west in Old Town, a little bit towards the south. And the name of that establishment is, let me just double check. I believe it's the Forbidden Coast. Yes, the Forbidden Coast. So you were looking into some blades that had been stolen en route to getting back to Antonio Torres, the legendary bladesmith. Uh, and the blades were actually meant to be sold, or they were commissioned by Raul Rodrigo. So you went to speak to Raul, and one of his workers, a dancer named Carmen Orqueda, and Carmen took you aside after you had a conversation with Raul, who, didn't seem to lead you in a lot of different directions as far as who could have stolen the blades. He seemed to have an idea himself, but he said that he would deal with it. And after leaving his presence, Carmen had sort of cued you in that Adlet Lockwin, who is a he is a merchant that deals with the Iron Throne, and he runs mercenaries as well as merchandise for their organization. Adlat is a bit of a rival of Raoul's in some capacity or another, and Carmen didn't go into too much detail regarding that, but she said that he is a likely suspect that could have done it. So you guys had sort of asked around about his establishment and his place of business, and it was by an inn that he seems to have either proprietorship or it's very closely linked to his business. You kind of got some vague answers when you went there to investigate. The name of the inn is La Espina de la Rosa, and the sign outside had a rose and its thorns entwined in the letters. Um, as you guys went to go inside, as you were, checking out not only the business that was next door, but also the inn that was next to it, which is supposed to be a fairly decent establishment in the area. Uh, your friend Kane had gotten into a bit of a row with one of the bouncers at the door, a guard by the way, all of the guards for the establishment next door and the bouncer and the guards at the inn appear to be the same. They're all wearing a metal mask over their features. But that aside, he nearly got into a row with the bouncer at the door, and as all of the chairs were sliding across the floor, as all of the guards in the main common room of the inn were beginning to stand up to support him, your friend Grail managed to convince the guards to allow bygones to be bygones, and that he tossed his coin pouch to the bartender and offered to buy them, all they could drink off of what he could provide there. And it seems to have assuaged their anger towards Kane. Um, and you guys have been sort of casing the bar ever since you've gotten there, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and you've questioned as to whether or not Adlat is your actual target, as the man that actually stole the daggers. Um, of course, you haven't really looked around his business that much, but looking around the inn, you were not so sure. Uh, Arashi, in the time that this all occurred, had disappeared and went upstairs after a brief distraction. And we sort of left off there. There is a storm that's incoming, and it's beginning to rage outside. It's gotten dark in in the area much earlier because of the storm. It's only like 3, 4, maybe even 5 o'clock, but it's gotten dark a little early because of that. Um, so what I'm going to do here is, uh, and ordinarily I would take Mike into another channel and do all this sort of stuff without you necessarily knowing what's going on. But that being said, I do want to have not everyone having to sit on their hands while I am taking stock of his situation upstairs. So yes. So what I'm going to do is town upper interiors. Let me make sure that I've got this right. And layers, that's the token. Um, so it's going to be dark for the majority of you, just because I would like to keep the vision completely separate. Um, but that aside, you'll still be able to hear what me and Mike are talking about. Um, so we will be bringing you to a Roll20 page that is completely dark, that is not anything awry or amiss or anything of that sort. But that aside, uh, it'll just be Arashi that is going through and seeing what is up there. So let me just grab a few other things and then we will get started here. Did anyone have anything else to add there? Any questions that they wanted to ask?
I'm good.
Just want to clarify, Pete. It's Arashi.
Arashi.
Arashi. I hate you all.
Mm,
That's it's Rash.
he's Rashi.
Oh, we can get a green for that. Special place for all of you.
So when you try to get too close to look at a boar's penis.
You get a rash.
True story.
Let's save that one for the non-recorded stream, Phil.
How many months did it take for that rashy to go away?
About 6 or so.
Alrighty. So, and let me see here. I gave out those hero points. I need to give out one more hero point to Mike just because he gets one refreshed, but everyone else is capped at 2 if you already had 1 or 2. So we're going to deal that. And going to drag the party to the upper floor of the place of business that you're at. So one moment, I'm going to make sure that I give vision to the stream. So
Moving up the stairway.
oh, there we go. I didn't mess up visibility. It's just, I'm going to click that off. And then, all right, Mike, so go ahead and find yourself on the map. You should be towards the center and your visibility should be okay. Gabriel's not there.
To me, except for looks like there's a path outside or something.
Okay, so you should look around a little bit. Because let me see here, Control L. Oh, okay. Can you see? Because I just... All right, let me move you into some place that you actually...
Yeah, like right now I'm seeing a triangle of light. It's weird because like there's a window of vision that I can see below me, but I don't see anything like the steps that I'm actually on. Okay, now I'm starting to see inside the...
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I now can see someone in front of me named Gabriel.
Yes, well, ignore Gabriel. That is the stream.
Yeah. Okay. So I wouldn't come all the way to the top of the steps first. I'm just sticking my head out to kind of, peer around the corner.
Okay.
To see if anybody is actually there.
So he's in a different part of the building than us?
He went up to the upstairs. So you guys are downstairs at the bar.
this seems a bit more than just rain, my friend.
A little heavier.
Oh. And Arashi, you don't see anyone up here at the moment. You do see that there is a window to your, the south there that you can see out into the courtyard of the inn. And looking else around, you don't hear any footsteps. You don't see any movement. It looks like that the hallway right now is empty.
Does it look like I could make it through the window if I needed to?
The window itself is like it's pretty thick. It's almost like a hazy sort of glass. And like there is it looks like a mechanism on there to keep it, sort of locked shut. It's obviously usable from this side. It's not so terribly big that you could probably make it out by squeezing, but like it would be a little bit difficult to get out of there if you just were trying to make a quick escape.
Okay. All right. So I will continue half movement. Trying to be as stealthy as I possibly can as I peer my head. I'm crawling at this point. I'm not standing upright. I'm crawling around the corners, sticking my head around to see, looking to the left, looking to the right.
Okay.
What do I see?
And keep in mind that the top of that staircase is visible from downstairs. So if you linger, too carefully, like the thing is that you stealthily made your way up here while no one else was looking. But if anyone walks by the staircase, there's not like curtains on the side of the staircase or anything like that. Like if they look to their left, they're going to see you standing there. So just again, but that said, you don't see anyone about as you're sort of crawling around there. You do see that there are various different racks, and it looks like the racks are they've got little hangers on them, and they're built for the cloaks of those that may be staying in the rooms up here. And then towards the middle of that hall there, there is a small table with a water basin on it that looks like it's used for washing up.
Do I see anybody? See or hear anyone? I guess I should roll perception for this.
No, you don't need to roll perception.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're trying to notice anything in particular. Again, if there was something there to notice, I would have either rolled versus your passive, or I mean, like you could try to roll an active perception if you think that there's something hidden there. But um, that said, you make it around the corner, and you can see it looks like the innkeeper has a couple of plants that are growing here. Again, native ones that are quite leafy in the light of that window that's around the corner.
So I see that there's some rooms back in there,
Hmm.
possibly beds or
Uh,
something. Okay.
yeah, you're not 100% certain as the door is closed.
I just see a closed door there. Okay, so there's a closed door. I'm not going to enter it.
Yeah, and let me make sure that I fix that. Oh, wow. So all of the doors are open on the dynamic layer. So one moment, I will fix that really quick. Freehand. Now I want to align. Red. Select. There we go. So you can continue to go about. I'm just placing some doors really briefly. So
while I'm standing next to this like coat rack,
Mm-hmm.
quick little thievery to see if I can check some pockets real quick and see if trying to be quiet about it. See if I
So
can pick up some points.
So thievery would not be applicable here because think of thievery as like sleight of hand. You're trying to pickpocket someone or like all that other sort of stuff. Stealth, like you have no one you're pickpocketing off of, and no one that you're like trying to avoid the notice of. You can roll stealth to do it quietly, but thievery is very much so a dexterity-based skill of trying to either avoid traps or to pick someone's pocket.
All right. Before I start looking through start going through the codes real quick, I'm going to listen and see if I hear anybody up here close by.
Okay.
So specifically.
With a 25, which is a critical success even with a non-natural 20, you do hear voices up here. And there's quite a few voices now that you're taking a moment and you're not sort of panicked about someone coming up behind you from downstairs. Um, in almost every single one of these rooms, this one, this one, this one, this one, and
If you're pinging, I'm not seeing it.
you're not seeing it? Well, one moment. Oh, that's because I'm pinging on the wrong layer. So let me go to objects and tokens layer. So this room, this room, this room, this room, and this room all sound like they have occupants. And with a critical success, you know that some of them have multiple occupants. It's difficult to, again, there's din from the bar downstairs, but overall, yeah, there's most any of the rooms around you are occupied. You're actually now that you're taking a moment to really listen and sort of fine tune how many voices you're hearing or how much movement you're hearing in certain rooms. It's kind of remarkable that no one's come out into the hallway yet to see you more or less.
Okay. And I need to get myself out of here, so I'm going to do the stealthy search of the pockets real quick, and then I'm heading down the steps.
Okay, you can go ahead and roll stealth, and then you can go ahead and roll perception.
So here's the stealth.
All right, you're pretty quiet about it as you're sort of going through the pockets and such.
And here's the perception.
As you're going through the different cloaks and the different long coats that they have hung up on some of these areas, you do come across one or two that jingle, and one in particular, you manage to pull a small coin purse out of one of them.
Okay. And I will head to the edge here, looking to see down the steps if the guard is looking the other way, so that I can stealth my way right back to where I was facing step.
You get back down to, or you look down to the area down there, and that guard in particular at the base of the steps you can see that he's leaning forward onto the bar and he's drinking. So he doesn't appear to be particularly, well attentioned at the moment as to what's going up and down the steps.
Okay. I will stealthily head back down. Roll for that, or just
Yep. Go ahead and roll stealth.
quietly down the steps. I am going to use my point. Holy cow.
No problem.
Okay, let's see. Drag my point.
Got it.
Yeah. Sneaking my way down. I'm not even like opening that pouch that I got. Just like got tucked immediately away. I'm not even looking at it. Nothing. Just
Okay. So I will place your figure back downstairs, and you'll be, having slipped past the guard, you'll be rejoining the inn. I'm going to be moving everyone back to the inn here, uh, and uh, if it is towards like the not necessarily the center of the map, but towards the top middle of the map, if you either seeing darkness, just sort of try to either zoom out or move around in order to find where your tokens are. But that said, um, you should be able to see the inn now. Um,
Yep, see it.
and,
If I come back next to the guard, I'm like, fellas, it looks like it's really coming down out there.
yeah. Well, you're quite the diviner.
I'm just letting my friends know that's. Anyway, maybe we should get a table for a bit longer.
As Arashi approaches the rest of the group, by the way. So, as you guys sit around drinking, and the time begins to sort of pass by, you can see some of the guards begin to filter out, along with some of the mercenaries. Um, but then, like some others begin to sort of file their way in, almost like there could have been like some sort of shift change that occurred. Um, let me it's about 6 o'clock, 6 bells at this point. So, you know,
Seem like the ones that have been drinking were maybe heading to their shift, or
uh, that's, do you have any sort of applicable lore, or, I mean, you can roll a perception to try to, intuit, what they were doing and such, but, them just leaving the bar, difficult to say.
yeah, I was thinking maybe just overhearing their conversation.
Okay, well, you can roll perception to have, tried to intuit that. You overhear, some of them like talking amongst themselves and saying, "Well, looks like we're gonna have to get to work, boys." And three or so of them leave, while one returns, sits down at the table. Um, but in addition to that, um, a well-dressed, looks like a merchant or some sort of scribe, walks in. He pats the guard that's leaning over the bar on the back. Seems to know him. They sort of exchange some pleasantries, and then he sits down at the bar.
I do have to do this just to represent our missing Carmen. Guys, do I go talk to that guy?
Wow, that was way too scary.
Yeah, that was spot on, there, Pete. I don't know. He looks like a rather interesting fellow. As far as I'm concerned, just passing the time at this point.
It looks like he writes well. Responsibility
Well, we do see all kinds come into here. You know what I mean? I'm definitely intrigued on all of the clientele.
You do have to make some type of roll to like keep a, I don't know, casual, watchful eye on the guy that tried to start a fight with me.
No, you don't need to make a roll to do that.
Casual stink eye.
Well, and also he's not in the room. He's out in. If you remember, he's in the vestibule as you first come into the inn with the innkeeper. He was standing by the door, so you actually can't see him from here, from inside the room. But ordinarily, to keep an eye on someone, there is not a role per se. If you wanted to do it surreptitiously, there would be either deception or stealth involved. But that aside, you can't see him from this room.
Yeah, I'm just talking like just Jesus, situational awareness. You know, like I bumped into the guy, we had beef.
Hmm.
Make sure he's not hiding around the corner, waiting for me to walk out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So you don't need to roll anything right now.
I do see you. You know, there still is music playing here and things like that. Um, is the general mood here loud and noisy, or are people kind of hunkered into their own little groups?
Was noisier earlier, uh, but it's as a few people left, a few new people arrived. This your crowd doesn't seem to be too terribly rowdy. Um,
How are they handling the storm in general? I mean, we have. Uh, I mean, I guess they're all local, so for them this is nothing. But
mm.
I'm kind of curious if are they do they seem to be hunkering down to weather this one out, or are we seeing lots of people just come in and out as they please?
It's funny every once in a while there's like a crack of thunder and a flash of lightning, and it's sort of some of the guys like they look off to the windows a bit when that happens, especially if it's a really loud crack of thunder. But for the most part, they seem to be settled in, cozy, comfortable. Being indoors while a storm's going on outside. Um, the bard on the stage, who's been playing for several hours now, he's taken several breaks every once in a while. Um, you see that the bartender brings up like a pitcher every once in a while for him with some wine in it. But the bard seems to be playing like he seems to be the muzak for the evening, if you will, like just some sort of background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's not
Sorry.
like oh, go ahead.
No, no, no. Good.
He's not singing anything terribly loudly. He's not playing very spiritedly. So overall, for him to be playing like 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours, it's not too unusual considering that his performance isn't very taxing of him. The only time that you saw him ever get heated throughout the hours is when I think Virgil offered to pay. I forget who it was actually that offered to pay him to play something from the King's Land. I think it might have been Arashi. But
Yeah, I think it might have been a rush, but yeah, that was definitely a rush.
y-
You don't forget it.
yes, it doesn't seem to be forgotten. As you get a glance every once in a while from the bard. But that aside, everything, it seems like most of the people are comfortable here. A lot of people seem to know each other. I mean, outside of the Kenku and the sailor off to the side at their one table, who have been, here drinking at least as long as you guys, if not longer. All of the guards, the scribe and the bookman here appear to know each other. The troubadour at the bar um, is again familiar. You actually recognize him. He was the one that was the second for Raul Rodrigo.
Oh, interesting. What does he seem to be getting up to?
He's just drinking and chatting with the bartender.
No, Rashi, you're a interesting fellow. Bars may have something to do with that's beware of sensitive subjects here. We don't want to have a reenactment of you doing your discussion with the bard.
You know, I know that we've only been adventuring
a short time, but that's not exactly my strong suit at all. I could try to have a conversation with the dear fellow, but I am not silver tongue. No, there are other metals that I'm much better with.
We've yet to see them.
What are you looking to find out? Just wanted to see what relation. He obviously knows the guards, so I'm figuring he must have something to do with Lockwood's business. And just curious to see how friendly he is to chat and just talk. It's always good to have a contact. I unfortunately find that, especially in caverns, people usually don't like it when a cleric comes up to them because they really think we're going to be trying to get knowledge through the doors.
Well, if we're looking just to if we're looking just to loosen lips, I mean, we certainly can. We can probably start us up a nice little drinking song going to see who's really in a talkative mood.
We'll get a drink at the bar and see if I can get a message.
I'm afraid that we may offend the bar in some way by doing that. We are definitely strangers in this bar.
To be honest, I'm offended by his lackluster music. While I appreciate he is providing entertainment for hours on end, it'd be better to listen to the Song of Silence than this continuing on.
I have whatever to dance in this once. It's whatever you gentlemen wish to do. I'll be happy to sit here and sit back your play if something happens. Though I have to remind you, I have no more money to try to buy drinks if this happens to go down.
I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just simply would prefer a livelier time.
Well, we'll get on over to the bar.
Okay.
And strike up a conversation with the bartender and use my hobnobber skill to spend a little bit of time and see what information is out there.
Sure thing. Go ahead and you can roll this skill before we get into any of the role play of it. Again, they're willing to discuss things, and the bartender's a very burly, like tall man. The bookman himself seems to be an older Castellano, so um,
So, so this would just be diplomacy, right?
absolutely.
I love that you have Hobnobber, by the way. It's just amazing that I mean you're like really quick at gathering information.
That's exactly what we needed.
Very good. Um, you come up and you notice almost instantly that the bookman himself hasn't had long in the bar, but he seems to be drinking like the beer is water. Um, and so he seems friendly enough, and the guard at the end of the bar that's right next to him is quite he's been drinking as well, just because all the rounds have been on Grail for the most part. So you begin to talk back and forth. The man himself, the bookman that is Castellanos, and you learn his name is Luis. He introduces himself as Luis Garcia, um, and as you begin to talk to him, he says, "It's good to meet you. You all are new to these parts, leastwise. I have not seen you all around, and also you have a very colorful group that you keep company with, it appears."
They are definitely a colorful and interesting group. I met most of them on the ship. We just got in a few days ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense. Uh, I had heard from speaking to my friend here that your tall friend almost got into a bit of trouble with the rest of the bar. I mean, he insulted the bouncer or something?
He doesn't have the best manners.
Pity. Again, you need to make sure that he steps softly around places such as this, or otherwise he might find himself, well, literally stepping in shit.
Well, that wouldn't be good, and one can only buy forgiveness so many times before the forgiveness runs out.
Yes, and some individuals are very much so not forgiving. So these ones in particular are not ones that are uh, going to give forgiveness very often.
That is absolutely good to know. Thank you for the advice. I will make sure to pass that on.
Oh, you are welcome. Um, uh, uh, Again, it is a pleasure to meet you, and I'm happy to drink on your friend here. Apparently, he has bought drinks for the bar, so.
He has. Although he's telling me his purse is run thin, so I'm not sure we're going to get another round. Although we can certainly try.
Very well. Well, I was planning to drink on my own coin tonight anyway. Uh,
Does it storm like this often? Is this unusual or is this common?
we have storms come in off the sea, not too infrequently. Sometimes they just pass like that. But this one looks like it's heavy, burgeoning rain clouds. It is probably coming off the sea. It may end as it goes over the mountains, but who can say such things? I unfortunately am not too experienced with reading the signs, but I would say that this storm is at least going to last a few more hours, if not into the evening.
Well, as long as the barkeep does not run out of ale, I can't think of a better place to be.
Yeah, you will not find that this place is particularly well stocked for such things.
Ah, good, good, good. Well, let me go pass that information along to my acquaintance, and I'll see if I can keep him from making as many mistakes in the future.
Absolutely. As you're leaving, you can see that the bartender comes over, and Luis says to the bartender, uh, "Two shots tequila here," as he's calling two shots for him and his guard, a friend, at the end of the bar. But you can see that in the time that he was sat there talking to you, he had downed another drink, and he is ordering shots now as well as another round for himself.
Okay. I will relay the not terribly important information to the rest of the group.
Cool. I'll move you
It's
back.
good to hear that they're in at least somewhat of a friendly spirit. Doesn't seem like any of our current actions have soured them. Uh, I've always kind of found that lips are a bit looser as the crowd is merrier. Maybe I can again engage them in a bit of a drinking song to see if I can get folks a little bit more on the inebriated side for us.
Perhaps you should ask the troubadour, or tip him to play something we can all sing to.
I mean, really be worth my salt, would I, if something myself?
Yes, but he's there hired to play.
Sure.
Maybe challenge him.
Again, that could be fun. If you
I
want.
don't have my fiddle. Obviously, the guy's taking breaks at some point. I'll just wait for a opportune time between songs to just kind of strike up more of a drinking song. Just one of the good old English style pub songs where, yeah, it really just kind of riles folks to chug.
You may want to be careful if the three songs you pick are from
England. I'm not picking it. I
understood.
drank here before. I served my time here in the King's Army, uh, and I've seen the reaction already. I'll use one of the local songs that I know.
Very good. So a few things is that the bard on stage actually does take a break, and he begins restringing his. He's using a looks like an older fashioned like version of a classical guitar, uh, but as he's sort of restringing it, you've got like that you've got veritable minutes, if not like 15 to 30 minutes before he's off of his break this time. And he actually gets down off of the stage and will as he's sort of restringing, he goes over to the bar, and you can see that he speaks to the other individual there. They just seem to be bantering back and forth with the bartender as well, as he's sort of restringing it on the actual bar itself. So you do have an opening, um, and if you'd like, you could roll performance.
Yep. Well, of course, like you said, he's starting to restring. So,
Hmm.
since there's quiet, you know what I mean. I'll start with what more of a, uh, I'll just go with vocals, where it's kind of more of that, just sing-songy, humming style tune, where I'll sing about like lost love, uh, drowning one's sorrow that then leads into the but the friends, and the drink keep us marching on type of a song.
Okay.
So performance, meh.
Um, So you begin to perform. The bard that was performing, that's restringing his guitar, does sort of give you a dirty look or glance. You're performing for the crowd, and the crowd doesn't hate it. The crowd doesn't love it though. Like no one joins in. Uh, you know, n and if these guys were maybe more drunk, and some of them have been sitting here and drinking for a while, but if they were like way more drunk, they might have been easier to persuade to sort of join in. But like as you hit a point that's like the clapping or like where you're like
It's
beating
too
on the
much.
thing or whatever, yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working. And every once in a while, you're trying to like do something cheery, and then like a just a absolutely like thunderous clap of thunder comes down, and it sort of ruins it a little bit. That said, uh, you do that, and no one, other than the bard at the bar, thinks ill of it, or but you don't think anyone thinks anything
They
positive.
don't think a benefit of it. Yep, I'm
Mm.
fine with that.
Game claps excited.
I always have one fan.
Granted, we're spending a pleasant evening here, so I really don't have an issue with this. But we're no closer to getting information to either eliminate lock movement or to who might be involved in the season. That we have to admit, I'm at a loss to do. This building here way too occupied for us to do a, shall we say, quiet investigation. And I have very little skill in, shall we say, subterfuge and being able to sneak around the building. I'm not sure where our path should go next. We know he has a business across the square from here, but the only thing we haven't learned is where he lives, that he might have put the daggers there, and that even that's a far cry from here. We're still grasping at straws.
Right. Quick out of character question. I thought at the end of 2 games ago we were gonna go check out his house while he was drinking. Did we do that or did we not do that?
His residence is right around here as well. You guys just haven't identified it yet.
No, I thought we had an address.
You did, and it brought you to here. They said it was right by this inn and his place of business, which is right next door.
Got it. And we got
We didn't,
stuck in
not a
the end.
precise address, right? We
Yes, as much as I would hate to head out into the storm, I think that might be our only choice at this point.
We walked all this way. I'd like to see what's for sale next door.
Huh? That sounds like a good idea. Better than any.
Maybe the next break in the ring.
Oh, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, be aware. I think it's a trading house, not a merchant. I think he trades with like caravans or shiploads and things of that nature. Now that's an assumption. I could be 100% wrong.
Probably.
Well, we have a 0% chance of knowing unless we head that way to find out.
Yeah, but I don't think. I think a gang of us going might be bad if whoever wishes to go. I actually will think I'll remain here. I think that having too many people would not be a good thing.
I'll go.
Judging by the number of guards, I don't think they're nervous.
No, but again, it's very suspicious if over half a dozen people walk in just thinking, "Hey, what do you do here?" Again, without knowing it's a store or a shop or browsing like that everybody else would do. I think it's better just to have a couple, two or three of our party go in and check it out. And then the rest of us also provide another idea we could also, after you're done doing that, we can think about is his house around here is more than likely might be guarded. And if the guards are wearing metal masks, it may point us in the direction of what his house is, simply by looking for who's guarding what house.
Well, Arashe, do you want to go take a look? I'm happy to come with.
Sure. I mean, water never killed anyone.
I just have this nagging feeling that we shouldn't split up.
Tend to agree. That's
If you
typically
want,
not.
if you think it's better we all should go, I will go. I will not be in the second voice.
Yes, come with. You bought the whole bar drinks. I don't want to see anything happen to you.
Yes.
Right now, I'm the best friend of almost everybody here.
Yes, very few would lay hand on you.
But no, I'll go with you. So yeah, we can go.
All right.
Is anybody else getting a lag when they try to do something with the
Not
Right now.
not especially myself.
Yeah, it's working for me now.
Pete, if you can grab my characters, I'm having really bad lag trying to do it.
You got it. You're trying to move with the group, that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kane's going to try to make good with this guy.
Uh,
Not getting out of this bar alive.
So,
I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, he's totally charismatic.
so as
Oh,
you
I love it. I think it's perfect.
as you go up to him, he's standing there. Again, difficult to say what's his expression or demeanor is because he's wearing a steel mask, but he just sort of is staring forward.
I'm looking for any skill. Like, there's none. Here goes untrained diplomacy.
It looks bravado.
Oh, this is where critical failure is going to be fantastic.
Hey, really sorry.
Hmm.
Got on your nerves, I guess. I don't know what I said. Feelings.
Roll him.
Is this the proverbial I'm sorry you got upset?
Basically, I wanted to say, yeah, I'm sorry.
He grunts at you and sort of nods.
I'll grunt, nod back, and then head out.
I'm moving Gabriel along, but Gabriel remains back at the bar with Co and Virgil again, just so that the audience has a view of what's going on here. So Grail comes behind everyone. Ominously, in the middle of this rainstorm, there is a raven that is sort of perched on the corner of this one house. Um, as you guys are approaching, the ominous portion is it sort of looks down at you guys, and it just says one word as it goes, "Mistake! Mistake!"
Well, that's odd. There's a raven thing mistake up there.
I don't think Trud uses ravens the last I checked.
I never liked birds much, anyways.
I reply back, elaborate! Elaborate!
Nevermore.
Uh, you yell up at it, and it goes, "Mistake! Mistake!" as it sort of fl-
Dinner.
flies over to the tree over here. So it flew from there to.
Sign that we shouldn't go.
Typically taking direction from birds before.
Father didn't exactly have a lesson in talking birds. I'm inclined to listen to it.
I mean, is there any like sailor lore to birds talking to you?
Absolutely. And in fact, you rolled it before and you sort of know what it is, but I'll seemingly you've forgotten it, so I'll have you roll to see if Arashi remembers.
I remember that the guy. I think it's a. I don't remember any of it.
With that,
Remember nothing.
you actually have never heard of birds being a bad omen. In fact, they usually bring good luck.
Clearly, this creature is trying to help us. And does anyone have any food on?
Exactly which one of us is he saying is a mistake?
He was just looking at you all in general.
Aaron said, "Oh."
Check with your mother. See if I have some food for this tiny creature.
Isn't this bird a harbinger of the ghost captain or something like that?
That's what I was thinking.
If you
I'm not
believe
quite sure.
if you believe such foolish nonsense.
Would a religion check or an occultism check? If I try to think back, see if I've heard anything about this.
Sure.
Kane's gonna try to reason.
Religion would work.
Bird. Which one of us is the mistake? And he'll slowly hold his hand over everyone's head, see if the bird reacts.
So you hold your hand over your head.
Yes.
Um, it sort of begins to fly over you, and you see like it's flying towards Grail, but then it sort of continues to fly onwards, and it looks like it flies inside of the inn.
I got a 26.
Yes, you recall this very specifically, and having jogged your memory. You've heard tales of the undead captain, Capitan de la Muerte. At least he's a legend amongst the Sun-Kissed Isles. A dead pirate captain that captains a ghost ship, wanders the Isles as if he's looking for something. Has a harbinger, a sort of ill-fated raven that seems to only speak one word, mistake, which most historians or storytellers tend to name the bird mistake because of that. Um, and just as this is all coming to your memory and you're recalling it and such, you actually see coming from around the corner in the middle of this thunderstorm, uh, what looks to be uh, a rotting corpse of a man in a long captain's coat that has glowing red eyes, a peg leg. Then the other leg, you can see that there's, like some flesh that's rotting, as well as some bone there that goes into like a sort of a thigh-high captain's boot. Um, but he's got what appears to be a bandolier on himself with several, like, looks like kegs or sort of vials, I guess is a better way of saying it, not a powder keg per se. But he's got holstered under his left arm a very large, very old looking, it looks like some sort of pistol, and he's got a saber on his right hip, but he is slowly sort of ambling around the corner, and then it looks like he's beginning to amble towards you all.
I suggest we move aside and let him pass.
As almost a silhouette him, a flash of lightning goes off, and you can just see like his dark shadow cast down over the entirety of the group um, as he begins to amble. And again, he's got a strange gait because of the peg leg uh, as he moves past you all. And as you guys move out of his way, he doesn't seem to stop. He just continues on. And you can hear the bird as it flies from the vestibule, it flies into the main bar. And as it's flying in, it goes, "Mistake! Mistake!" As Capitan continues to move inside the bar. And then he goes inside the bar room.
Oh,
What do we make of all this?
I'm going back into the bar. I'm just
Absolutely, the rumors are real. I want to know what's going on.
Okay.
yeah. I don't say anything. I just head right back into the bar. I'm like step in here.
All right. So I'll move your token back into the bar. Anyone else that wants to move back in, you guys can move yourselves back around.
Yeah,
So it's here. I'll do so. I'll move you in there,
thank you.
so you can move yourselves around. But and let me follow the camera up. So Gabriel is going to go over here.
Curious to see if he goes to that chair they have set up on the stage
Well, it's to the side of the stage, but yeah, he goes.
for him. On the one,
He seems to go directly to it, and just like most of the other bars you've seen here, there was a glass that was almost a little ornate, that was filled with whiskey off to the side, a map laid out, and looked like tools to be utilized to, like triangulate positioning on the map. Um, you can see that the captain himself uh, pulls the stool of the table that's next to him, next to his chair as he sits down in it. And he has like a sort of ancient, like leather sort of binding, almost like something that you'd roll thieves' tools up into. And he unrolls it, and you can see that he's got rusting navigator's tools inside of the pouch, as well as what looks to be a compass. Um, and you can see that he takes the glass of whiskey, um, he downs it, and you can literally see the whiskey. Well, maybe not too well from wherever you're positioned, but it travels through and out of him in certain instances, down splashing onto the table and the floor a bit after he downs it. And he places it down on the table. You can see that the bartender is, and by the way, almost the mood in here is completely changed. All of the guards, all of the other patrons, the bartender, everyone seems horribly on edge and nervous. Um, and the bartender sort of begins to rush over with a a very what looks to be an old and fine bottle of whiskey as he goes over to the table and he begins to shakily pour whiskey into the captain's glass as the captain begins to carefully with like like a sort of rotting leather glove. He begins to pick out his navigator's tools and he begins to look over the map. And you can see that he looks like he's trying to, move the tools across, almost like he's trying to triangulate something.
I'm going to lean over to Co and go, I don't care if you have to knock him out. Do not let Virgil bother.
What you saying that for?
Almost as in response to that, by the way, you hear
I know my young brother. No.
when Virgil says, "Why do you say that for?" The Raven across the room goes, "Mistake, mistake."
You know that the word mistake comes from the ancient language of Mystasius, which means that.
The bartender,
Will hold back Virgil.
no problem.
I'm staying by the door.
The bartender leaves the bottle at the table with the Capitan and goes back behind the bar. Several of the patrons get up, pay their tab with the bartender, and then they begin to file their way out of the bar. Um,
I'm going to walk over to the bar and say to the bartender, does this happen very often?
uh, not not frequently here. I haven't seen the Capitan for at least a year, and I wasn't bartending here. I was drinking at another establishment along the docks, and he entered. I I I left that time rather quickly, um, but I can't leave while he's here. It would be uh, I have to serve him while he's in the bar.
If you wish, I'll be happy to take the next drink over to him so you don't have to approach me.
No, no, you don't understand. I am. This is some traditions are old, and it would be disrespectful for me as the tender of this bar to not serve the Capitan, and
That makes sense.
and to treat the Capitan with any level of disrespect is to invite ca- catastrophe. Ca- catastr-
Bad things.
yes. Uh,
Out of curiosity, has anyone ever looked at the map after he left to see what he wrote on it or what if he put any markings on it?
he'll he'll take the map with him. I will have to get a new one for him after he leaves.
Speaking of which, it looks like there's a window just outside where he's sitting.
Yes.
I'm going to, go outside and see if I can get a look at what he's drawing on the map
Okay.
from the outside of the building.
Sure thing. So I will move your token so that you be over there. Um, and I think from there you're sort of able to see inside, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just. So go ahead and you can roll. You're trying to stealthily do it?
Um, Unless there's a better way to do
No,
it.
no, no, absolutely.
Stealthily is good.
So stealth.
Ooh, hey, I have a point.
You have a point.
Ooh, I'm going to use my A point.
Yeah, boy. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
You do get out there, and you are looking through the. Actually, that you really prefaced what I was going to be saying there, because you're looking inward, and you can see that he's got uh, these like this almost it looks like there's a pen and then there's a metal point to it, and it's inside of this device that he's using to move about in like some sort of circular fashion. You can see the map itself looks like it's a map of the Sun-Kissed Isles, naturally, and you can see that he's already made some markings on it. The map itself has gotten a little wet, but as you're sort of trying to take a look at it, and you're just sort of peering over, you can see the captain was looking at the map, and he was triangulating something, and you hear the Raven go, "Mistake, mistake," as the Capitan looks up at you, and his eye sockets are, glow a very light shade of red. However, the fire that burns in his eye sockets begins to burn a little bit more brightly and glow, as you can see that his head sort of just looks up towards you, and the burning of his eyes sort of makes eye contact with you, and he stops sort of doing any writing on the map.
Oh, do you have your instrument on you or no?
You know, now might be a good time to break the mood.
He came with his right foot, starts like tapping out like I'm thinking something like Queen, we will rock you, like on the baseboard of the floor.
Uh,
Hoping
Well,
Phil will join in.
when you begin to do that, by the way, you see that the two bards at the far end, the one that works for Raul Rodrigo and the one that was working for the inn, they had two drinks in front of them. They both down their drinks, and then they begin to move past you guys and say, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me," as they begin to.
Oh, that's fantastic.
well, it won't stop if you'd like a performance check.
Certainly, by the way, the one bard left all of his shit on the stage. So take for that what you will.
Well, I'm gonna spend a coin too because I'm sick of this. A 3 and a 7 is all I've rolled.
So
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a nice cat-like grin because I can't hide that I'm here.
So here goes the other reroll.
Come on, go. Come on, go.
There we go.
All right, everybody, up on your feet.
So you're playing a really good funeral dirge roll.
Yeah. No, again,
Stomp, stomp, clap. Stomp, stomp, clap.
so
so having failed at the drinking song previously, and having heard the statement of again tradition, I'll just play a real maritime tune. You know what I mean? So nothing to lighten the mood, nothing else, but just kind of you know a good a good set of tools to guide you find your way home type of a tune.
so,
I'm going to lean over to the bartender and say, "Would you mind if I come and
and you go to the bartender, and he says, "There's not enough room back here for both of us." Uh, but a few things. Sayer, as you sort of give him the cat grin and such, um, like he's got some flesh left on his face, and he smiles back at you, and the smile is like with some of the flesh rotting off, and you can see the teeth of his skull sort of further back than you would normally be able to. He gives you sort of like a terrifying smile back that sort of chills you a bit. But as he does so, this song and the stomping and all of that begin to happen.
Following Kane's kind of again doing it all vocal, so it's going
Mm.
with the kind of rhythmic nature, you know what I mean, that he's providing.
Um, the Capitan actually, uh, in his chair, he you can hear like you know that sound in Men in Black when Will Smith decided to drag the chair across like the area so that he could put it. The
Yes.
the Capitan takes his chair and sort of sits up in it, and then sort of it screeches as the legs of the chair sort of slide, and you can see he's scratching up the floor in the bar as he turns the chair, and he puts sort of one arm he's resting on the armrest of the chair, and the other he places on his leg, and he turns to watch your performance. Um, and he looks, you see him look at the Raven. The Raven doesn't say anything, and then he looks back at all of you. And remarkably, as you're playing, occasionally you can see he takes his right hand that's on his leg, and it's almost like he picks it up and puts it down every once in a while, almost like he's trying to be in time with the song a bit, like someone that would be enamored with a performance. They would be, like maybe dance a little bit in their chair or whatever it is. You see that and by the way, Sarah, you see that he's no longer even focused on you whatsoever. But he seems to be taking in this performance by the bard of your group, and for better or worse, he's got uh, Ko his full attention at the moment.
Well, why did you have to add that for worse? I mean, it only for better,
Mm,
right?
I will take that opportunity to get a better look at the map.
very,
See if I can figure out what he's plotting.
very good. Do you have any applicable lore skills to navigation or anything of that sort?
That is a good question.
Um, if not, a basic perception will suffice. But if there's like a lore of like seafaring or anything of that sort that you have, that could be useful in this particular instance.
Hear Grail saying quietly, Shrud blesses children and fools.
All right. Kane's gonna get up on the table.
All right, go ahead and place yourself on which.
Perception's gonna be the best thing here.
Go ahead and roll perception. Very good.
Nice.
I will type to Sayer what he sees. So I'll whisper to you.
Everyone, get off your asses and raise your glasses. Viva la Capitan de la Muerta. Stomp, stomp, clap.
Nice.
Don't just where he haunts, but when he comes around, everybody's shaking. That's all I have.
Very good.
All right, so I whispered that to you, Clint, but Kane, as you're stomping and such, you can go ahead and roll performance. And you know,
Don't play it up too much, man.
you remember when I said for better or for worse, Ko, as you were performing, the Capitan looked like he was making himself comfortable during your performance, and he actually took that very large and sort of old-looking pistol and placed it like heavily down on the table in front of him. So, but that said, Kane's performance, um, the Capitan is not like clapping along or slapping his leg to it or anything like that. but he just sort of turns his head to the side, and you still have his attention um, with everything that's going on. So he's not turned back to look at Sayer, or and you guys can still like see Sayer like sort of in the wind. Like now it's like the cat is like forward, like he's like craning to sort of look at the various different things on the map inside of the through the window there. But overall, you've got Capitan's full attention. Um, as you like sort of get up on the table though, like this scribe sort of moves to another seat, and you can see that the guard here moves over there, and a couple of the other guards like sort of move back off the table that they were at with their drinks, just to sort of get out of your way.
Kane looks offended. Just deserted him and wouldn't join him in his revelry. Stomp, stomp, clap.
By the way, of the guards, they do that, but Luis Garcia, who is at the bar, he's like, "Stop again! Keep it going!" As he's like, he's completely offbeat, but he is bum 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 at the bar.
That's the way, Senor Garcia. Join me.
I'm gonna make my way back inside.
Oh, I will. Yep, go ahead and you can do that. As you know, you stop playing or anything of that sort. You know, or you get quieter. The Capitan will again. You hear that screeching sound of him turning the chair back to look at the map, and then he goes back to his work. Oh, before that though, you can see that he reaches into like his rotting leather coat, uh, and he pulls out what looks like a handful of gold coins, and he tosses them on the floor as they sort of scatter about. Some of it underneath the table, but a lot of it, you know, about this point. And then he turns back. About, yep, about there, where you're standing and such. You go to pick up the coins, uh, and there's 7 gold that he's let sort of scatter across the floor.
Aye, aye, Captain. Long live your search.
He You can see that his right hand. Oh yeah. Well, and you see his right hand go to his whiskey glass, and as you sort of were saying that, he's not looking at you, but he holds it up, and then he downs his drink and puts it down at the table, and you can see that again, it sort of spills out a little bit on the map in front of him and such, as again like there's like a rotting hole in his throat and like his sort of chest cavity and such. But
Pocketing the last coin, I down my drink. And then salute.
he takes that fine bottle of rum that he has on the table, and then he pours himself another glass, and then he continues to work the map in front of him.
I'll take a couple steps towards Co. You believe that shit just happened?
I'm I'm not sure. I think we should be honored.
I agree. Fine rail.
As
Over near the park.
as you guys go to do that, the captain looks like he finishes up his work, and he downs the remnants of the glass. Um, you see that he takes out a number of gold coins and drops them on the table as he rolls up the map, and he rolls up his navigator's tools. He looks to the raven, who looks at as he's doing this, and the raven goes, "Mistake, Mistake! As the raven, you can see it flies sort of over most all of the heads in the room, and it begins to sort of navigate its way out as the Capitan begins to slowly amble uh, past any of the individuals in the bar. And most all of them make a space for him. Uh,
Making space. Getting out of the way of the door.
and he goes back out into the rainy night.
Barkeep, I gotta tell you, it started off rocky, but this is the best time I've had in a long time. In fact, another tequila for Senor Garcia, and another round for the house.
Perfect.
Take,
Okay. Um.
Virgil, you don't happen to have a map, please?
Uh.
Not my collection. I do not. I'm working on a map, though. I've been working on collecting all of the information of the locals, and Coke said he was going to take me around many places.
I don't have a map per se, but I am quite familiar with the seas. Was that a question you had?
Well, what he had on his map was looks like there's a cove that he sort of implied his ship was at, and then there was a bearing line to an island to the north.
Do you remember the bearing?
If you showed me a map, I could show you the island.
I'm just trying to recall sailor lore of from what he's describing to me and my knowledge of.
Yeah, I'll describe the shape of the island and where it was, relative to here, and also point out that some of the islands to the south he had X'd out. So it seems like he's searching for something that he's lost. Can't remember.
Here comes the sailor knowledge. Shit. I will. Oh man, because it's exposition, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna use my last point.
All right.
Woohoo! 0 point club. Come on, get a 10 like I did.
My point. That not a point. Oh, lovely. So I get it.
uh.
You don't even know how to tie a bowline at this point.
You don't get a critical failure, so it's not erroneous knowledge that you get. However, the Sun-Kissed Isles, you've been learning a lot about them recently, and unfortunately, you can't quite recall which isle is to the north of because the isle that has Porta del Sol on it is one of the largest isles in the archipelago. But the thing about it is that yeah, you don't recall specifically which one is the northern one.
Yeah, I find a map. I think I would probably have a better chance if I had a map in front of me. At the moment, I can't recall what exactly that might be. I mean, there's so many.
There's a lot of islands around here, and I'm probably not describing them.
May I see one of those gold coins that Captain gave you?
Yes, I was planning on giving you a few of them. Right, you're out 3 gold, right?
No, it was only one and some change.
It's fine. I appreciate you not letting me, end my own life.
Let me take a look. I'll take a close look at one of these coins.
Okay. You see that they're old, they're ancient, and they're stamped weirdly. Like you've not seen coins stamped like this. Well, you may have. You could roll society, or do you have any other applicable skills? Other lores or other skills might call into play, but this would be very specifically society. If you don't have society, it would just be an intelligence check.
Yeah, my lore is
Okay. Well, yeah, you haven't seen anything, as far as Again, certain kingdoms or something like that may come into play. But that said, yeah, difficult to say. These are very old, and you're old as well, but you haven't seen anything like this before. At least not how these are stamped.
But I'm only 65, so I'm not that old.
Mm.
So, what do you have there?
It's one of the captain's coins.
Might I have a look? I'd love to see what he was carrying around.
I'll just going to take 2 years old. I'm not going to take it. That's unfair.
Give the other one to Ratchet. He seems interested in it.
I'll take a look at the coin. And would it be Sarah Lore or would it be Society that I should roll?
Uh, Either or both. Well, actually, no. Either, whichever one's higher is probably the more applicable. So
Okay, they're the same. So I'll just roll Sailor for flavor.
cool.
And 10.
The insignia on the coins, you do think that it had something to do with like a nautical nation, or you've seen like descriptions that would match coins like these. Might be pirate gold, probably is, given that it was Capitan de la Muerta that threw it, but um, the insignia, like whatever these are stamped with, you don't quite recognize.
All right. Well, what I think it might be, like a pirate nation or something at some time. I can't quite recall. I think I've seen it before, but I'm not quite sure. I'd have to probably compare that with something else I'm writing to see if it's.
It would just be interesting at some point, not this manuscript that I have, but it'd be interesting to find someone archaeoromantic.
Well, I think Virgil could dig up some dirt on that.
Yeah, Virgil might. You know anything about this, Virgil?
I do.
Yeah, that's just that's a DM thing.
So one moment, and Mike. Mike gave full command to Pete, as well as was willing to die if he got into a bad situation. So that's perfectly fine with me. Virgil can roll society if he so chooses. Let me see if what other lores he has that might be applicable. He has lo
He would he 100% would. That's all within like what he's doing constantly with his character. So
Oh my God!
no, it's
well,
Such
guys,
a
I know precisely where these coins came from. I mean, haven't you like been paying attention with all the stuff that's been going on around us and things of that sort? I mean, you'd have to be a complete and utter idiot if you didn't see it. Um,
please tell me it's from the Lost Isle of Hotlandia.
that seems inappropriate to the conversation. But beyond that, no, these coins are stamped with the insignia of House Rodrigo, but it's a stylized and ancient sigil of House Rodrigo. These are stamped with the likeness of the Pirate King on them. Um, this would be for, dating these coins back to when the Sunkissed Isles were first sort of formulated as a nation, or at least as a people by being founded by the pirate lord. Yes, these would actually probably be more valuable to certain collectors or individuals than actual what their weight in gold is worth. But
You're saying not all gold is the same price?
well, the thing is that certain pirate gold was cursed, but these coins in particular, because they are so old and they found back to the finding of the Isles, as well as stamped with the beloved image of the Pirate King, could be worth a lot more to certain individuals. But most people on the street would probably just take them at their weight in gold. Yes, you're not wrong.
definitely hold hold on to this one then.
Did Senor Garcia and I get our shots at tequila?
Oh, yes.
I'll cheer him and salute.
Salute to Capitan de la Huerta. Tequila.
Viva la capital.
Viva la Capitan.
As I take the gold coin, the antique gold coin, and put it into my bag, and at this point, since there were no other coins in my bag, I look to see what coins I have there. From my head earlier.
Well, the thing about this is that let's scroll up a bit here. Um, da, da, da. So here's the point that I need to point out to you, Mike, is with the troubadour away, I stuffed the balled up pouch into the cushion of the brown chair in the corner. Oh, so you emptied the contents into your pack. Okay, cool.
Because I was trying to get rid of the pouch itself, but keep the contents.
Got it.
I was feeling the coins to see if there was anything that didn't feel like a coin, in case there was something indicative of property of the previous owner that I needed to either get rid of or see what it was.
I just whispered you what you found.
Cool.
Interesting with the stylized version of this House Rodrigo crest or Lord Rodrigo himself.
I would agree, heartily.
Well, as this conversation is
I would hold on to them for now.
Oh, I'm not intending to sell them. I'm just simply stating a possible, in the situation where we need to raise some funds, a possible customer other than a straight dealer of antiquities might be
Or-
Lord Rodrigo himself.
Well,
Or he would actually, or else he'd have us thrown in prison for having these coins in our possession. Can't really tell which way that would go.
I'm not sure why you're so worried about the fact that coins freely given to us. So I'm not sure why you're making this such a dire situation. They're ours, and I would.
You served in the military. Have you ever seen noble?
Well, I'm sure I saw him weeping at one point. It looked like he was floating.
as your conversation is going on, the bartender goes over and he gets the coin that the captain left for the rum, as well as his tip, and takes it off the captain's table. And you see that he quickly takes it behind the bar and places it away.
I'll flare out the two remaining coins that I have in my right hand and address Co. Care to split what's left?
Oh, you can have it, my friend. The honor was just in singing with you and bringing.
You actually notice that the thunder has seemed to move off a bit, and the lightning is less frequent, but it's still raining outside.
Very journalistic type scribe, or is he like a accountant?
Looks like a mousy accountant type.
Not to.
Sorry. I certainly can, but it seems that our friend here is a bit better with applying information from others, while I may be able to raise their spirits and avoid a conflict. I'm not sure that they're going to be as anxious to speak to a orc.
Gentlemen, honestly, can you even believe that that just happened? I've never seen anything like that. I didn't even know ghosts were real.
I don't even know if that really happened either, Lewis says.
Do we know it was a ghost?
Spirit, a wraith. I saw liquid. Well, that's Did we get this bartender's name yet, or is he just going by bartender?
You haven't asked his name.
Bartender, friend, have you ever seen the captain interact with a crowd before?
Um, last time when the captain was in a bar that I was at, I left very quickly. I did not wait to watch him interact with anyone. The pardon me. The legends state that the Capitan, uh, if he's happy with the alcohol offered him, and he is undisturbed in his ritual, that he will leave pirate gold behind to pay for the alcohol and for the courtesy of the chair and the map.
This quite a story.
Yes, I'm very happy that he was pleased. It is an honor amongst my profession to have had the patronage of uh, Capitan de la Muerta.
Apologies for standing on your table earlier. I was taken by the moment.
Oh no, you are fine. I will clean it up later.
Or harm them?
Uh,
You seem so scared.
the bartender says the captain has been known to cut down anyone that interferes with his ritual. In addition,
That would have been good information prior to me interrupting his ritual.
Yeah.
How long has he been coming into the various inns doing this?
it has been ritual since before I was born. So at least a generation or two. He's every establishment, bar, and inn has learned all throughout the Sun-Kissed Isles that if you would be a type of business that would be patroned by the Capitan, that you need to adhere to certain things that would behoove you in not necessarily it's hard to say in enhancing his experience, but if you were to make him comfortable, uh, that would be in your favor. And the stories, of course, over time, I've heard many of them being in my line of work. The stories all say that the current setup and ritual that we put out every evening for the Capitan uh, have changed over time to suit his needs and what he seemed to be searching for. Um, we learned over time from, you know, the stories say that previously he would rip navigational or uh, equipment or maps or things of that sort, either off walls, out of people's person, or occasionally he would, if someone tried to touch what he thought was his drink, he would cut them down, or any just things over the years we've developed a means of dealing with it, and any uh, decent establishment would never disrespect the Capitan to not have the Capitan's chair as well as one of his favored alcohols for his enjoyment while he works.
And a map, obviously. Do you have a stack of maps floating around here, or do you just buy them when you need them?
We buy when we need them. They're rather expensive to have a stack of them, especially in a place like this. But just because, again, it has to be to specific. It needs to be something that a captain can navigate with, and some of those can be somewhat pricey, even though a good number of establishments have them out. Usually, you only buy one, and that one will last you over seasons. In fact, I can't tell you the last time we. I've never purchased another map because that one has lasted the entirety of my tenure here.
And you said it's the first time he's been here, right?
The first time in my recollection that he's been here, and I've been working here for a number of years at this point.
He did take the map with him, right?
He did.
I guess we were just lucky.
Since you're in need of a new map, I think we'd like to have a map as well.
Well, there's several cartographers. They a lot of them are along the area right around the Silk Bridge, over on the stairs side of town. There's some cartographers over towards Stoneside, but I generally prefer a map from the stairs or the Silk side of town rather than our side, just because the flourishes and the quality uh, tend to be a little bit better from some of the cartographers on the stairs.
Good to know.
Sure, you don't want to go cheap when you're dealing with the captain.
Has
Yes.
the captain been known to visit more than one establishment in a night?
That I don't know. I've not heard stories of him doing that, but uh, I can't say that I've ever seen him but once else in my life. So he could possibly visit other establishments, but I don't know. Luis is at the point where he is uh, singing to himself lightly as he is looking at his cup and sipping at it.
This guard directly next to me is his guard, right?
The guard is actually one of the bouncers. He's been drinking off and on. He's not drinking too much. He did a shot with Luis, but he hasn't done the other shots with him. Uh, but he was standing at sort of attention when you guys first arrived in the inn, but then as the night has progressed, he seems to be uh, more watching over the bar with the bartender, and a little bit more relaxed.
If I can get his attention without drawing Luis's attention,
Okay.
it's gonna be okay.
Oh, he he ends up like this almost every night. Again, he fancies that he can hold his liquor, but I, Luis will end up probably sleeping it off upstairs at some point rather than going home.
Should we offer him an escort home?
No, no, it's fine. We've got the spare rooms upstairs, and again, he'll be able to just roll out of bed and go to work in the morning.
So I will just, as Luis is drinking, sitting next to me. So what do you actually do?
Oh, well, I'm a bookkeeper for a gentleman. He actually he owns this establishment too. I bookkeep for Mr. Lockwood.
Oh, so then do you live around here or do you just work around here?
Oh, I live a few blocks away, but um, I uh, I work around here. Um, not too far.
So does that mean that Lachlan lives around here as well?
Oh, Mr. Lockwood lives in the house behind his business.
Oh, really?
Hmm?
I was told that it was an impressive establishment, like an impressive household,
Well,
just to look at from the outside.
it's actually not very impressive at all. It is 3 stories, which is impressive, but it's small. Because Mr. Lockwood, uh, he is a bit, and he sort of whispers this to you, he's a bit frugal about certain matters, but other matters he's more than willing to spend on. But the inn and the business are pretty, again, you got to give the appearance of certain things in order to attract certain clientele. But his home is rather modest.
So what sort of things does he splurge on?
Uh, Honestly, if he wants something, then he will stop at nothing sometimes to get it. Um, and again, he also, if anyone slights him, well, he'll spend any amount of money to sort of give them back what they gave him, if you catch my meaning.
I totally do. Is he what's the most he spent to sort of get revenge on someone or to
Oh,
you know try and um, humiliate somebody that's offended him?
I
I mean,
wouldn't,
you work with his books, right? So you would know.
I wouldn't be surprised if he would spend over 1,000, maybe thousands of gold to deal with someone that has displeased him.
Does he have to keep that on his books as well, or is that just a separate matter and you just deal with the business establishment?
When you question the books, he almost has like a moment of sobriety that crosses his eyes, and he says, "Oh well, of course, uh, all of Adlat's bookkeeping is above board. Nothing is not uh, checked, but I mean, he wouldn't do anything illegal to get revenge on someone. I mean, he'd try to chase you out of town maybe, but he wouldn't do anything.
Of course, I wasn't implying that. It's just there's a difference between your finances for your business, which you have to keep track of, and if he's just paying somebody out of his pocket.
Oh,
Do you deal with his personal finances as well, or just the business?
well, I sometimes handle personal matters for him, but not all of the time.
It must be very, very trusting.
I, I am.
Do you know is he in a good mood lately? Like he was in a good mood when I saw him.
Oh, he sort of throws his head back and laughs a little bit. It actually attracts the attention of, like the bartender and the guard that's talking to Kane, but they don't really interject themselves in the conversation. They just look over weirdly. But Louis says, Adlat is never in a good mood. I've only seen him smile when, I mean, I can't really talk about that.
Oh, come on. What made him smile? I want to know. You have to tell me.
Okay. All right. Well, since you insist, it was uh I forgot the guy's name, but he was an I guess he was one of Adlet's competitors or something like that. Um, I think he had some sort of accident and ended up in the Silk River.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, accidents do
And then a
happen.
pitcher comes in. Oh yeah.
Accidents certainly do happen.
They do a lot to Adlat's enemies.
Does he collect anything?
Uh,
Like, does he have any hobbies? What does he do?
he's
He's obviously got to spend his money on something.
like
Can I get his school schedule and a list of his fears?
like like we talked about, he's pretty frugal. So like whereas the offices and his places like are nice-ish, he doesn't like go out of his way to collect anything or stuff like that. Not that I know of anyway.
Well, then you would know because obviously you're keeping track of his money.
Yeah, I would know. I do know. Yeah, he doesn't do that.
Hmm. Um, Bartender, I didn't catch your name. Sir, what was your name, Mr. Bartender?
He looks over at you and he says, "My name is Diego."
Ah, Diego. Another round, please. Tequila for everyone at the bar.
Yes, certainly. As he pours another round of, and at this point, the guard at the end waves it off and he says, "I'm good. I still have to work for the rest of the evening, so I've had enough." But he pours out um, a shot for everyone at the bar, including Gabriel.
You know, it's funny, Sarah, hearing you guys talk. It reminds me of a rivalry I had with my brother. And, got got this bow that I wanted. I was so jealous of it. I actually actually paid a friend to steal it from him. I didn't want it for myself after that point, but I just didn't want him to have it. You know what I mean? Fucking brothers, right?
Yeah, fucking brothers.
People do some pretty crazy shit.
They do. Like some crazy stuff happened earlier. Like there's an undead pirate captain that came in.
I know. Have you ever seen him before?
Cappy, Captain Death? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen him before. I got out of the bar. I'm not stupid, but I mean, tonight
Some of us are did the honor of entertaining him.
Right? Have you ever seen that happen before?
I'm not so sure I saw it tonight. As you can see that he's like sort of his eyes are glazing over a little bit and he's swaying from side to side.
It is starting to get late. We were, I think we might be heading back to our lodgings. You said you lived around here. Do you want us to walk you home? Or are
Diego
you staying
and
here and drink?
the guards sort of step in like as you ask that, and Diego says, "Don't worry about it. Luis has stayed the night here a number of times, and it's probably best. Otherwise, he'd probably be late for work tomorrow."
Probably a pretty good breakfast, I would think.
Well, you'd think so, but really, and Diego sort of sternly looks at him. But the breakfast is possible. But yes, I can sleep here. Sorry. It's just drizzling now. It's about 8 or 9 bells at this point.
Wish our luck anymore this evening.
Absolutely. Diego, thank you very much for hosting us this evening. I'm glad that things turned around from when we first entered.
Round of applause for Diego, keeping us all topped off today.
Oh, you can see some of the other guards sort of like golf clap, or actually clap. In reality, some of them just because they actually enjoyed the performance. They're really drunk at this point and things of that sort. But overall, you seem to get a positive response for him.
I'm sure we'll come back now that we've established ourselves here, at least from the standpoint of we know the outcome well.
So, you guys are heading back to the King's Rest.
Well, we're heading out of
Oh,
this building.
oh, I know. Okay, yeah. It wouldn't hurt to make a small detour, go around the building, around the business.
Okay.
Right. To the little three-story.
As we're saying our goodbyes before we get too far away from Luis, I kind of want to lean in on Sayer and just
So, one of the things that I personally, have as a hobby, is collecting really cool knives.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen any of those, or I know there's the one guy that sells really nice shit, but I can't afford this stuff. You know anybody else that's have you seen any recently with like flames or anything like that?
Uh, I haven't seen any actual daggers. Um, Across some of the stuff that I was going over, I remember seeing a drawing of some daggers. They were really nice looking daggers. I don't remember exactly the frame of. I'm. He seems to like get befuddled and like begins to like sort of talk to himself a little bit. What was? Well, anyway, yeah, I think I saw a picture of some.
You remember where?
I was, it just came across my desk. I was doing some other bookkeeping for, for Mr. Lockwood, and, it was, what was I balancing that day? I don't remember, but, yeah, I remember, a picture, and, yeah, there was a famous maker's mark or something on the, I don't remember.
Do you remember how long ago this was?
Uh, oof, oof, like last about the last fortnight or so. I think.
Well, maybe the next time I see him at the bar, I'll ask him about it.
Oh yeah, he's. I'm sure. Well, he doesn't come to the bar very often, but when he does, I usually it's in business. But yeah,
Well, you have a good night, sir.
you have a good night too. As you can see that he's slowly but surely passing out at the bar.
Night, everyone.
Night.
Okay, I give the listening device back to there.
They are overrushing.
So I will head out and then wait for everybody else to come join us.
Do 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 do. So, you guys head out, and let me follow sort of on the map what's going on, and I'll try to go about telling you what you see. Um, so, most of you, uh, so the main business, and I'm actually going to pull your tokens aside really quick so that you, because I don't think Clint was here for when you guys entered. So you guys came from the south, and I'm going to move you guys over to the west a little bit here. So, when you first came in, and I'll move the camera down to it, you actually had noted that, and I'll pull this more to the side here. The main entrance to the business is over this way. Um, and there's not really a sign or anything denoting it, but you did see some business traffic going here and there. Um, Also, remember there are, and to describe to the folks that hadn't been here previously, there are like little rope, almost like bridges that go from building to building in this district of town. It's a little bit odd, to say the least, but beyond that, um, at the top of the building here, you saw some, and like at the base of where that bridge would be from one building to another, you saw a guard with a bow up there. Um, this alleyway, which goes in between the inn and the place of business here, had a guard at it as well. You saw that there's a back door into the this inn over here, there. Um, all over almost every single entrance of the place, there were guards. In some instances, there were dogs, but a lot of the areas of the establishments, like the roofs, had guards up there as well with bows and such. If you were to believe what Luis is saying, uh, there may be a way around the inn to get back there, but also this path right here would also lead back to where the house is. But that said, I'll drag you guys back to the front of the inn just so that you'll have a reference from where you were, and you guys can head wherever you'd like to.
Now we found before that Lachlan, his obvious occupation is supposed to be a trader working with the Iron Throne. So that's basically a weapons trader, if I remember right.
He deals with mercenary contracts and weapons and armor, yes. So whichever way you guys want to head, you're more than welcome to move in that direction. I'll describe in better detail what you're seeing.
I say we walk up that little alley and see what we see.
Well, we know the guard's to the west. We don't know what's to the north. And he said the house was to the north, wasn't it?
Yes, to the north of the business.
And that the alley here. So north we go.
That would have been my suggestion.
Yeah, yeah. I just was thinking maybe use that one alley that was highlighted. Walk north that direction. Unless you want to go around the inn, go essentially east, and then go north around the inn, so we're a little further away, and then cut back. Use the alley that we saw next to the inn on the western side of the inn.
So as you guys are going, there are buildings, and again, you still see some of those little ladder things from rooftop to rooftop here and there. But as you get towards the end of this alleyway behind the inn, um, you do see that there is so if you recall, this to the south is the alley that goes between the business and the inn, And this here looks like a little sort of cobblestone pathway that leads to a it's a slender home to be sure. It's only about uh, maybe 15 or 20 feet wide, but it is 3 stories tall, and you can make out the framework of it in the darkness there. So you go up to that point, and that guard that you're walking in front of, Kane, stops you and says, "Where do you think you're going, buddy?"
Buddy, we've been drinking with the captain, and I'm just trying to get back to King's boot.
Yeah, I I appreciate it. I was drinking in there not too long ago. Uh, saw your friends and such. You're headed the wrong way, buddy. You want to head north up that pathway there, or you want to head back around the inn and go south. You don't want to be headed this way. There's nothing good for you down this way, buddy.
Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Um, and those of you that saw that conversation as it was going on, you also saw like coming to the edge of that rooftop. Um, a archer sort of poked his head over from standing on the rooftop, and he's holding his bow. He doesn't have an arrow strung, but he's just sort of looking down.
Alright, so if we follow this road around north, eventually we'll come back to the King's Rest.
Uh, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this. The as we head a little bit further north, the three-story building should be basically due west of us, right?
You would think that it was due west, like that down that path that he was going down. But if you go west here, you can see that there's like houses here, and the houses are pretty close together. Like you can barely squeeze between some of these places, and it looks like it comes to like a stop in the back there, so that it would eventually you'd have to hoist yourself up to the roof or something to that effect in order to continue west.
Okay, but we would be able to see a three-story building over those houses.
Yes, absolutely,
So the three-story building is just sort of beyond those houses.
absolutely. It's crested over them.
Okay, well, we could try heading up to the roof on one of these things over here and see where that takes us.
Now, there's several guards, and they were almost.
Yes, I think they reacted quite quickly to anyone being present. I would think that a bit more subterfuge would be necessary if we were to try to get up there.
Well, we could have a couple people um, head south down that alley and drunkenly make a lot of noise and draw all the guards' attention while we
You need to get someone's attention, you say?
Did you say bum fight?
Yeah, oh god, don't.
It's good the way you got him talking about those daggers. So he definitely knows he saw something.
yeah, well, and we also know that he, um, doesn't really take well to being confronted. Will do anything to piss off his enemies and take advantage of them. So, sounds like a likely candidate.
Starting to think that way.
Yes, things do seem to be adding up to look better like that. Is correct.
I mean, a drawing of a pair of daggers with, craftsman's name on them certainly seems like the information made it that way. Those daggers existed.
Now, would that be for like if he had the daggers and that's just like a manifest? How's that? How would that work?
It could have been that or else it was an accident that he saw that paper. It could also have been a diagram picture of the dagger that whoever stole them so they knew what they were looking for.
Right. It seems like
Carmen. Gabriel says.
Well, it might not hurt. I was gonna say it might not hurt to go back and talk to the bladesmith and let him know what we found so far, and see if any of his drawings are missing or who would have access to copy them. Because if there's none missing, and there's only, two or three people that would have seen them to be able to copy them, that gives us another starting point to go at this.
That's assuming the pictures were made prior to the daggers being formed. Once the daggers are formed and someone has them, it'd be easy enough to sketch them up.
But I get the impression that the drawings happen first because you don't really need to draw after.
Agreed.
And there would be no reason for the dwarven, he would not have needed to create drawings.
Yeah, what time of day is it, Pete?
It's about 9 or 10 o'clock at night by this point.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe we should sleep on it and figure out what we're going to do in the morning.
It does seem like the prospect of talking to merchants is better in, daylight hours. Unless we want to go steal a map. You can't buy a map when the stores are closed.
Can we go into any tavern in town and just copy their map?
Why don't we just wait till the next day?
I might not remember where it was at.
I'm not that smart sober.
Right?
I would strongly counsel against stealing the map, especially when it's being used for the captain in any of the taverns.
Okay, how about we just go to another tavern and
You can look at it, but
we look at the map and we can point to the island on the map.
Gabriel speaks up and he says, "There was one at the King's Rest. There's one in every tavern."
Bar crawl.
let's go back to the King's Rest. You can drink there and fall into bed.
That sounds like a great plan.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so we'll take it over to the King's Rest.
You know, I was sitting there thinking, if Lockwood is involved with mercenary contracts, that might be an option, especially if our friend Kane would go into his establishment and say he's looking for a job as a mercenary, looking for a contract. That'd be a perfectly legitimate reason for walking into that place of business.
That's what got us into this mess, girl.
What, you talking, or?
Yeah, that puny guard. He got upset when I said that, most mercenaries where I'm from are big.
Well, no, you're looking for a job, Kane. You don't want to antagonize people when you're talking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm much bigger than you. They should give me a job.
Yeah, but I'll go with you, Kane, and I'll help you negotiate a contract, possibly.
He got all butthurt. I don't know.
Oh, my March friend.
You guys get back to the King's Rest. The King's Rest does have the little shrine thing set up downstairs that does have there is a glass of rum as well as the map and some fresher navigator's tools down there. But you take a look-see at it.
We want to start a bets on how long it's going to take to start telling everybody the King's Rest and he just entertains you.
I'll let that word spread naturally by itself. I suppose it's
The map does have and now that you're looking at it closer, it does have like annotation as to which isle is which on the map, as well as little markers here and there regarding the various isles. And the island directly to the north of the isle that Puerto del Sol is on, which is again it's the largest isle in the archipelago, is Isla de la Sabiduría, which Gabriel translates into common for you. It is the Isle of Wisdom.
I will also point out where the cove where his ship was at,
Mhm.
at least according to the map that he drew,
Okay. You point out
and which islands he crossed off.
he crossed off a number of the southern isles, and their names are noted there. But and I can bring if you wish to know that in the future, I'll bring that up to you. But that said, the names mean nothing to you guys at the moment. The only reason the Isle of Wisdom is anything of note is because you guys have heard of the Vire that rules there, and that is, let me see his, if he's in the notable NPCs journals for you guys yet. I think he's in the journal for some of you, but I think it was mainly Virgil because he knew who it was. Let me see here. Yes, it's only in Virgil's journal, but it is ruled over by the Vire Damien Aquino, who is the old mage, or he's known as the Bio Viejo, or the old owl. He's the one that has an unnatural lifespan, and he harbors any mages that are not widely accepted on the other isles. If they wish to seek sanctuary, they can seek it on his isle.
So, I mean, if we're bored after we finish this, we could always go, try and find whatever the captain's looking for. Although if he hasn't found it in 20 years, I'm not sure we're gonna find it. Especially since we don't even know.
Yes, well, once I see a map, I might. Go again, Bill?
Just saying, I think that we're closing in on these daggers.
Yes, well, at the same time, once I can see a map, I might be able to discern exactly where he's located and what things to check off the list.
Go see the map right now.
Yeah, you add to that.
Yeah, there's a map in the downstairs of the King's Rest.
Tell me, sir, the presence of the captain has thrown me some quite a bit. Let me go look at the map and see what I can come up with. I'll take a look down at the map, going back over what was told to me.
Okay.
And here comes my sailor knowledge. Woohoo!
With 21. It looks like he's charted a course. And I mean, again, the information was pretty obvious from at least what Sayer had seen. That it looks like his ship he brought into a cove. You don't know how he got to land, by the way. If he because the cove would be a good place to almost hide your ship if you were trying to keep it hidden from the general port itself. But alongside that, if the ship is there, how did he get here? I mean, if he's undead, maybe he walked along the bottom of the ocean or what have you. But still, it would have been a terribly long walk for him. But outside of that, you can see that he did clearly uh, uh, if the X's are any indication, he's crossed off some of the islands to the south that are ruled by various other virae. But he's charted a direct course, and it looks like to one of the ports of the Isle of Wisdom. Um, so, and it's not a terribly indirect route. It's probably one of the safer routes that you could take a ship. If you were looking to get there in as quick a fashion as you could.
Well, from what I can discern, it's pretty obvious where he was going. Now, for what purpose or what he's looking for, I have no clue whatsoever. But I would say that whatever it is he's looking for is probably quite valuable and meaningful to him. Would be something worth quite a few gold if we were to get our hands on it. But then we would still be being chased by the captain.
We don't get to have a ship.
anybody else want to, have a strange urge to see if he's even got a ship in that cove?
Curious. It did cross my mind. Curious. I mean, also something too when you talk about him spending years searching for it. It is possible that he's cursed and doomed not to find it. This sounds ominous. I'll follow you.
Yep, not a problem. What's going on?
Once we get up to the room, we're in there, and we shut the door and everything, and it's just our group. So we have it's just the six of us. Said, well, while I was scampering about,
There are seven of you, by the way. Virgil and Gabriel are both here.
seven.
Arashi later on that night. Dear diary, I stole from a coin. I'm so terribly proud of it.
Yes, either you get invited in there or we go and try to sneak our way in very carefully. And I would only venture out if you're good at hiding.
Well, I think also those rope bridges you've noticed allow them to rapid between these buildings because they can go different angles across these roads and things of that nature. Plus, rain hell down upon anyone who's in
Certainly, certainly. I mean, we could take advantage of that and utilize those same rope bridges. However, getting up to them undetected is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, especially for some of us that aren't skilled in such things.
Yes, those that might not be able to make it up a set of stairs unseen and sneak about. By the way, if anyone needed a good coat, there were a number of coats upstairs in that bar that could be liberated if needed. I'm just saying.
I don't think I've reached the point of stealing clothing from people in taverns at this point.
Taking lives? What matter does clothes?
Never took the life of someone that wasn't for me trying to protect someone else.
I see.
You can kill the party, but I gotta get out of here and get to sleep.
Okay.
Indeed, and this is actually a good point. I was going to let it wind down there and leave it there for this evening. That'll be 275 XP for everyone for, again, continuing the encounter in the bar, the interactions with Luis, and also the interaction with Capitan de la Muerta, as well as further investigation of the outside of the establishment. I believe that may level you all. I'm not 100%.
900?
Yeah,
Oh,
bring me up to 900.
Brooke, we'll make it 375 then, because I'd like to, I'd like to level you on the fourth session here. So, for um, also continuing the investigation and sort of putting some things together here and there, I'll give the extra 100 because I did intend to level you. That should put you like 25 over. So you can carry that 25 over into level two. Again, every level is only 1,000 XP. So that said, you guys can level up your characters, and if you want to log into Roll20 and update your journals after you've leveled them, you can certainly do so, and that you can have all that stuff ready for next game because you guys are going to sleep, so you'll wake up the next morning leveled up.
All right.
We should sleep more often.
How we change, how we actually level it up.
So what you'll want to do is any new abilities, you just log like your old abilities. But let me pull up my window here so that I can see your journals really quick. Um, journal. I'll open up Virgil's so that I'm not double dipping into any of yours that you might be looking in at the moment. But you would increase so your proficiency and your at the top your level would go to 2, which should automatically increase your proficiency, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Um, because the one thing you learn about Pathfinder is that every level, everything goes up by one, at least. All of well, at least if you're proficient with it. So all of your skills you're proficient go up by one. Your AC goes up by one. You're going to gain hit points equal to whatever your class's gain in hit points are, plus your con, which you may have to adjust your hit points manually.
Fighters, what, a D10 plus.
I think fighters may not roll. It may be a flat amount. It may be a D10, but I'd have to look it up. Let me see here if you guys roll or if it's just a flat amount. Fighter, Pathfinder 2. Guide. Uh, 10 plus hit points. That's the wrong thing to be looking at. I might need to look in my player's handbook. If you do roll, you can roll, or if you roll less than half +1, you can take half +1. But I think that it's a flat amount of hit points that you gain. I'm not 100% on that.
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll say under. But in the upper right hand corner is your level, and you definitely want to update that to 2. And then a lot of you will be gaining either a class feat or a skill feat of some sort, and usually something else. So it just depends on what class you are as to what you gain there. Yes, and a skill feat is essentially a a feat that you have to have an applicable skill for. You have to have a prerequisite for it. The one thing I'll also say is if you get access to a general feat, I believe a general feat can be of the list of general feats, or you can take a skill feat. So there's like a pretty long list of general feats that's, uh, generally it's like bonuses to initiative or things like that, like, bonuses to movement, bonuses to armor. And then you have skill feats, which are all dependent on if you have the skill and it enhances the skill in some way. So, GG, everybody.
Hey, and Pete, you want to hang on for a minute? I've got some scripting here for the other thing.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to end stream. So I'm going to do that.